Today we're here to celebrate a remarkable milestone, 10 years of Italian excellence, as Luca Faloni marks a decade of craftsmanship and style. So before we get started, a huge congratulations to you, Luca. It's an extraordinary milestone. How are you feeling about it?
I always thought long term we could be one of the big Italian brands. And I know there was a need for what we were building. But you always have to start small, and we started from the product. I never wrote a business plan or anything like that. No.
Wow. How come?
When you start thinking too much about them, you don't do them. So this time I just started and it all flowed through.
I guess I'm interested about that idea of you growing up in Turin. Is there a very specific aesthetic to that region, and has that really influenced what you do?
Look, I loved growing up there. Turin was the first capital of Italy. You have that aesthetics that looks like a little bit like, some people call it a small Paris, right? You have that royal architecture, etc. And so you grew up with a classic style. And so when I left Italy, when I was about 21, I went to study abroad. But what I noticed that over the years, I was always coming back to Turin to buy my clothes. Right. I never thought about it, but I knew where to go. I knew, okay, that guy has been making my shirts since I was 15.
Love that.
And then one day I was in San Francisco, and I came across the direct-to-consumer model. I was 2012 or so, and the first direct-to-consumer brands were starting. And immediately in my mind, I thought, wow, this model is amazing. You can give more value to the customer. I should immediately apply to that Italian craftsmanship I'm used to from back in Torino, right, and make it easily available globally.
The term made in Italy is thrown around a lot these days. How do you apply it to what you do, and how do you make sure it's done with integrity through the Luca Faloni brand?
For me, made in Italy has always been very important and is one of the fundamental pillars of the brand. There are a lot of brands out there that they claim it's made in Italy, only the last part of the production happens in the country. So I'm really proud of it, and it's one of those pillars that will always be part of the brand.
Do you go and spend time with the artisans and kind of get in and see what they're doing?
Look, I've known some of these people since day one, right? And I remember the early days when I would rent a car and go to a random town in Tuscany or in Lombardia and meet people and their laboratories, and I was fascinated with how they were doing things and how they were organized. Funny enough, in Italy, most of the businesses, most of the consumer-facing businesses are called with the name of the founder. Right. And outside of Italy, people think that's strange. But in Italy, it's the opposite. It's strange if you don't call a business with your name. Really? Because it means you're not proud of it. It means you're not sure of it. Something is wrong with it. Or I can say other people start businesses to sell them. Right. For me, it's something for a lifetime, and really gives me the opportunity to improve it with a long-term mindset.
You told me earlier that you try and spend a day and a half per week working on product. So product must still be a very important aspect of what you do. How involved are you in the kind of nitty-gritty of making the clothes?
Yeah, so product is the essence. I believe every company should be focused on products, okay? Then if you have a great product, the brand eventually will get a great reputation. And yeah, I still spend 2 days a week on product. And you would think most of it is to develop new products, but most of it, in fact, is to analyze feedback on existing product and collections, right, and really how to make them better. And we analyze, all sorts of things that a customer might not even notice. Resistance of materials, how things perform 2 years after you have them, how buttons performs 20 times after you wash them. Yeah. All sorts of things that a customer wouldn't necessarily think about. That's what I'm focused on. There are some products like the shirt I'm wearing. We had it in the collection for 6-7 years, and I think it's one of the best shirts in the world. But that didn't come overnight. That's
a lovely way of working. I mean, it kind of speaks to my next question. Like, one of your pillars is inclusive luxury. To some, it might seem like an oxymoron. Can you explain a little bit what that means?
Yeah, to me, luxury is about the quality of the material, the quality of the product, right? If I know something could be done better, I would do it. If needed, I take a lower margin on that product, okay? Right. But I will do something the best I know it can be done. Other brands out there, luxury is about the price and the exclusivity and making feel things difficult to get. And no, it's all in a way, I wouldn't call it a scam, But
Go on.
these companies have 10 billion revenue, 20 billion revenue. Is that what you're selling? Is that rare? It couldn't be that rare if you have that much revenue. So my point is, like, a lot of other brands over the years became big company using the wholesale model, which effectively what that means is you sell your product through a third party store or retailer, and obviously that third party needs to have their margin, and so the final customers pays a lot compared to the actual cost of the product. Now, we started as a direct-to-consumer brand, which means basically we produce ourselves with our partners, with our artisans, and then we sell directly to the customer. So in that, skipping that step of the third-party retailer, we can give the same great quality product at a value, okay?
Right.
So, and basically, the way I look at luxury, for me, luxury is about what you're getting, and we make it inclusive in the sense that we sell it at a price point which is fair. So a lot of brands, they increase prices above inflation for a long period of time, and they've gone too far. I think that's not fair. Even when you could do it, you shouldn't be doing it.
Right.
We have our multiplier that we believe it's fair, that people should be paying to help us run the business without taking advantage of the customers. The brand, at the end of the day, to me, a brand is a promise. And what do you stand for? I think we stand for quality of material, quality of manufacturing, and we're fair brands when it comes to pricing and the artisans and the environment.
I mean, it's an interesting market at the moment, right? Because there is a lot of luxury. It's a relatively saturated space. How do you kind of stay focused on what you're doing? And do you worry about kind of relevance, or is it just about thinking, right, this is Luca Faloni, this is what we do?
Look, I never worry about what other people are doing. We are focused on our product, our collection. I do believe if you obsessively focus on the customer and improving, as I said, every week I work 2 days on product, and most of that is improving existing product. Now, we try to improve products that we had in a collection for 8-9 years, right? There is always something, if you really ask yourself, if you force to tell you, look, this product is not a 10, it's a 6. How do you bring it to 9? If you always ask yourself that question, you'll find something. And so I focus on myself, on our company, on how to improve the product. And that means that if you do that for a very long period of time, relevance will always be there. You will be, at some point, you'll become the point of reference, the brand of reference for your customers.
Right. What have been some of the biggest highlights from the last 10 years?
So many. Look, opening the first store in New York, for instance, was a moment that very special.
Whereabouts is it in New York?
West Broadway.
Okay, nice.
It's next to Cipriani, in front of Gucci. It's fantastic, and it's a neighborhood that, in my heart, has become so special over the years. Then, the first time a celebrity wears your product. There's been many over the years, but some of my childhood hero, like Bob Iger from Walt Disney. The first time Prince William wore our products was very special.
I bet.
I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
But also the small things. As I told you, I like to keep things fun. I had a bet in the early days with my with the DHL driver that would come every day to pick up the orders. Yeah. You start as a small business, 1 order per day, then some days no order, then 2 orders per day. So, and I told him in the very early days, soon the pile of orders will be taller than me. And we still have this picture where a few days before that happened, the pile was just 1 order short. So I made myself shorter to win the bet. We laugh all the time about it.
You're obviously wearing full head to toe.
Yeah.
Luca Faloni, look fantastic. What are your key pieces? What are the bits you always go back to?
Look, first of all, most of the time I wear prototypes. I don't wear the current collection. But in special occasions, like today, I'm not wearing a prototype. I'm wearing a chunky zip cardigan, which is a must, one of my favorite pieces for the winter. You can wear it with a shirt underneath, you can wear it at home with a t-shirt, very versatile. And another piece I love, it's any of our shirts, right? That was the first design that allowed us to really gain traction with the customer. They have a one-piece collar, so they are more elegant. than usual shirts. And in the summer, I do believe the Portofino shirts in linen is a fantastic piece.
Yeah, it feels very kind of iconic Luca Faloni.
Yeah. And then we developed that in brush cotton for winter, in cashmere cotton, in Oxford and poplin for the office wear, but has been at the core of our collection for almost a decade now. And then the cashmere collection, to me, cashmere has always been one of those materials that people ask me, why don't you do wool, it's a bit more affordable. I'm like, no, I believe you should never take a compromise on quality, and we try to make cashmere inclusive, and I just love it. It just feels soft, warm, it keeps your body temperature.
It must be tempting though to look at trend and see what people are doing and think, oh God, I've got to maybe we now need to do an oversized coat. How do you avoid doing that?
Look, I don't believe in trends, and what we do, which I call it a permanent collection, but also a timeless collection. Timeless refers more to the design point of view. Where I grew up in Turin, people have been dressing the same way for 30 years, since I can remember, right? And we like those pastel colors, those classic pieces, but it's everything you can wear formally, but also be casual, depending on how you put it together. This jumper, I can put it with jeans and the look will seem more casual. And now I'm wearing it with pleatable trousers, so it's more elevated.
Luca, what you've built in the last 10 years is extraordinary. Thank you so much for your time this morning. And here's to 10 more years of inclusive luxury with Luca Faloni.
Thank you. It was a lot of fun, and I look forward to the next 10 years.
Love it.